Who is giving class today?
Not you.
Not me.
Not you.
Vasudeva.
I thought I saw his name, okay. So Vasudeva will be here soon, but until then I've been asked to do a little chanting and try to get someone else who has a much sweeter voice to chant. I'm nervous, so they won't do it.
I think he's talking about Bhagavat.
No, I was talking about something else. But yeah, so we'll all have to chant together with great enthusiasm, praying to Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please engage us in your service. Please accept us. We only ask for the salary of pure love for you, and if we can somehow or other develop some love, then that will be a great benediction, great payment. All this is certainly by the mercy of His divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki. Namo Shubhadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Swami Harinam Sankirtan Ki Sankirtan Yagya Ki Tanago to Permanandi.
Thank you so much, Jai Taifu. Hare Krishna, welcome to everyone. It's so wonderful to see everyone here today at Bhagavat Sravana. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm super excited to introduce Vasudeva Prabhu. He's going to be speaking again on Shikshastakam. Don't worry if you weren't here for part one, you can come for any of the parts. And yeah, we're just very excited to hear him speak. Shikshastakam is my favorite topic. And Vasudeva Prabhu, if you don't know him, he is our head pujari here at Bhakti Center. So he is the servant of Radha Muralidhar most intimately and engages so many devotees in service and has been doing that service very steadily for many years now. He joined the movement in what year, Prabhu, did you join? In 1997 he joined the movement, and he's a disciple of Kadamba Swami, and he was a brahmachari for many years and did traveling book distribution and many different services, including pujari service actually in Vrindavan. And then he ended up through kind of Radhanath Swami coming here to Bhakti Center and serving here for so many years, first as a brahmachari and now as a grahasta with his lovely wife Vandana. And he's a teacher of Sanskrit and Shastra and very deeply practicing devotee who is an amazing teacher and has so much to offer our community. So we are so grateful to have him here today. He's also now my neighbor.
Chaitanya Manobisham Sthapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Dadasi Swapanantikam Vandeham Shiguru Sri Uttapadagamanam Shiguru Vaishnam Shri Rupam Sadhikatam Sahagarna Raghunatham Vinam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Balaram Sahavana Lalita Shri Vishwarambitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasudeva Sarine Manchagopatarupishya Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Niratnate Gopesha Vidakanta Radhananda Namastate Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hare Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangam Nandhayate Girim Kripatam Vande Shri Gurum Dinatayam. So thank you for being here. Welcome. Especially welcome to everyone who was here last week and decided to come back. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be speaking on Shikshastakam, as I said last week. February started. It's now kind of the time of the year where we have the appearance of Advaita Acharya, we have the appearance of Lord Nityananda, and then finally, towards the end of March, we have the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. So it's kind of the time of the year where this mood of meditation on Mahaprabhu and his associates becomes prominent in our spiritual lives. So I thought it would be nice to focus on the Shikshastakam. Prabhupada mentions the Shikshastakam at the very introduction of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He mentions there. Anyone remembers from last week what he mentions in the introduction?
The Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yeah.
The life of Lord Chaitanya.
Yes. I have something specifically highlighted. That Lord Chaitanya is both Bhagavan and Bhagavat in one person. Not only Bhagavan, he's Swayam Bhagavan. He's the supreme form of Bhagavan and the supreme Bhagavata, Sri Radha in one form. And he did not write much, although his life, his personality is the complete manifestation of Srimad Bhagavatam, if you will. He did not write much. But sometimes less is more. So by giving us 8 instructions, actually he gave us more than if he would have written volumes of books, which he actually did through his followers, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. As Krishna has his nature to give respect, give honor to his devotees more than himself. So he just wrote a few verses, and he let his devotees take the credit for writing his teachings down in more greater detail. But by this, in these 8 verses, we find the very essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, we'll recite now the first verse. Last week we kind of gave more or less an introduction to this verse and we just focused on a few words. Now we're going to deal in more detail. Since this is also Bhagavatam, the extended Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll chant first the invocation of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can all join me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Before I start, I want to offer my respects to Sacharaj Prabhu, who is here, a senior and very learned devotee who wrote a wonderful book about Lord Chaitanya and many articles, I'm sure, about Shikshastakam. I read some, I can remember all of them. So Prabhu, I pray for your blessings to speak and hope this presentation can be pleasing to you. And to, of course, to all the other devotees who are here. I'm praying for your blessings. So we can all recite this together to save some time. Cheto Dharmanamarjanam Bhavamahadavani Vanam Shriya Vaidava Chandrika Vitaranam Vijayavarujinam Anandam Divarnam Prativanam Purnam Vidyaswadanam Sarvatma Samaram Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Purport: this is the first verse of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shastra. The other 7 verses are found in text 16, 21, 29, 32, 36, 39, and 47. So this is chapter 20. This is the very last chapter of the Antya-lila. The scene is that Lord Chaitanya is very much withdrawn at this time in his life. He's in the Gambhira, his little room in Jagannath Puri, with his very close associates, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. And he is reciting and discussing these verses with them and really getting absorbed in them. The essential topics of Shikshastakam is Nama and Prema, the holy name of Krishna and the development of Krishna Prema, love for Krishna. It is a beautiful verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita we spoke about last week too, that Lord Chaitanya, he took the holy name of Krishna and he took Krishna Prema, the love for Krishna, as it's in Vrindavan, the most intimate, divine, exalted love for Krishna. He took these two things, these two flowers, or you can say one is the thread and one is a flower, although, you know, when you think of a thread and a flower, they're less, you know, the thread is much less and the flower is much more. But this garland is not like that. Both the name and prema are the most wonderful things. So I think of them as two flowers. And with those two fragrant, wonderful flowers, he made a garland. He strung a garland. And who did he garland with that? Yeah, the entire world. He offered this to the entire world, to all of us. So let's receive this garland. We all receive this garland of the name imbued with Krishna Prema. There's many other incarnations of Krishna who appear in this world in the age of Kali, like we're in today, when this age of Kali repeats. least 1,000 times every day of Brahma. And every Kali Yuga, Krishna comes as an incarnation during that period. And he gives this process of chanting the holy names. It's the standard process for this age in every single Kali Yuga. But in this age, it's special that Krishna comes himself as Lord Chaitanya and imbues this process with Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtana. He gives the treasure of the divine love of Golok, of Krishna's abode, in this chanting, in the process of chanting, and through the process of chanting. So these are the main topics. So if we look at this verse, the subject of the verse is the most important words in this verse. Thank you, Daya. Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The congregational Sankirtana, the chanting together of the names of Sri Krishna. Krishna, who is Sri, who is endowed with his pleasure potency, Sri Radha. Krishna is never, ever, ever separated from Sri, from Radharani. When we speak of Krishna, we speak about his internal energy, which manifests his abode and all his associates. And the essence of that energy is Radha, Sri Radha. Because the entire internal energy revolves around giving love to Krishna, giving pleasure to Krishna. And what gives Krishna pleasure? Only one thing. Nothing else gives Krishna pleasure. That's bhakti, that's love. So Radha, Shri, is the personification of bhakti. That what gives pleasure to Krishna. And when we receive that potency as living entities of bhakti, that deeply nourishes us and gives us pleasure too, the highest pleasure as well. So this potency of Shri gives Krishna pleasure and also gives us immense pleasure. So the glorification of Sri Krishna, Krishna along with his spiritual energy, which manifests his abode, manifests his name, manifests his pastimes, manifests his wonderful form. The glorification of all of that is the main subject here, and is the main process for this age of Kali. Now that Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned that the quality of that Sri Krishna Sankirtana should be param. It should be of a superior quality, not an ordinary quality. Anyone remembers? Because basically our entire class last week was about param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Anyone remembers like the meaning of param? What gives it that superior quality? Yes, thank you, Padastu. You get 10 marks. Yes, he says that Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is the process. It's abhideya. It's the process of reviving our love for Krishna. But that process rests on another kind of knowledge, which is called sambandha-jnana, knowledge of our eternal relationship with Krishna. We have to understand who is Krishna. We have to understand who we are and what our eternal relationship is. And in the Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses this term, in the womb of this transcendental knowledge received from a realized personality who has this, who is experiencing this, who is experiencing Krishna, who is experiencing I'm the eternal part of Krishna. When we receive that knowledge from that person, then in that womb, Sri Krishna, Param Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is born. After hearing, then there is chanting. Otherwise, people have so many conceptions of Krishna as a god, as a mythological figure, as the impersonal Brahman taking a form. So many conceptions are there. But Krishna Sankirtanam with that misconception has some power still, because it's still Krishna. But it's not param, it's not of the superior quality, which then produces all these 7 other effects mentioned here, which we're going to discuss today, beginning with Chaitya Darpana Margin. So the param quality has to be there. And then it becomes vijayate. Then it becomes victorious. Then it conquers the bondage of the living being. It conquers over our ignorance, over our forgetfulness of Krishna. And it awakens us to our full potential as living beings, as recipients of Krishna's mercy and the experience of divine love, prema. So that's possible when we apply this param, when we absorb ourselves in param Sri Krishna Sankirtana, then this victorious aspect takes place, conquering over the bondage of material existence. So that's vijayate. And it's when that happens, then Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, although sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't like it, sometimes we chant on the streets and people may not even pay attention, especially in New York because so much is going on. But actually the position of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is that it's victorious over everything. It's exalted over everything else in the material world. There's actually nothing better. There's nothing higher. There's nothing greater. There's nothing more wonderful than Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So to realize that, there's a process. And that's a kind of a gradual development described in this verse, first of all, and then in the rest of the Shikshastakam itself. So this verse is like kind of the synopsis. So without further ado, because this is the introduction, the recap from last week, let us now look at each and every aspect. So, Cheto Darpana Marjana. Marjana means cleansing. Darpana means, what does Darpana mean? Mirror. The mirror of what? The heart, yeah, the Chetas. This is what Chetas is there. So Chetas, heart, it really means Chitta. Chitta means consciousness. Sometimes we say heart, because heart is actually the seat of our consciousness. Explains that Krishna, he is conscious. He's consciousness. He's called Vibhu Chaitanya. He is the supreme and all-powerful consciousness. He is never covered by anything else, any lower quality. And he's never forgetful of himself. He's all-powerful and omniscient. And we are called Anu Chaitanya. We are minute particles of consciousness of Krishna. But as minute particles, like a drop out of the ocean, we have similar qualities. What are those similar qualities? Can you think of some? Not some, any, just the main ones. Sat. Yes, Sat, we are eternal or Nitya. Nityo, Nityanam, it says in the Vedas. Chaitanya is Chaitananam, and we're conscious like Krishna. And we also have, and this is a very important part, Bhaktivinoda Thakur points this out with reference to Baladev Vijayabhushana. We have what's called Asmat Artha. Asmat Artha, meaning the sense Artha of I, Asmat, I. We have an I. We have an ego. We have an identity. Krishna has an ego, has an identity. So often we hear, spiritual life is all about giving up the ego. It's about giving up the false ego. But we have an original ego. And this is very key to bhakti, that we have this original ego. So when we speak about Cheto Darpana Marjanam, it means cleansing, not giving up, cleansing away ourself, our ego. It's the misconception of ourselves. Because this Anu Chaitanya, this us, this minute particle of Krishna, when we turn towards Krishna in love, it's like turning towards the sun. We can see the sun and we see ourselves. When we turn away from the sun, what do we see? We look at our shadow. It's not ourselves. We can't see it. It's an extension of ourselves. It's like a shadow of ourselves. We even use this expression like, oh, he became like a shadow of himself. Right? So in the material world, we're looking away from Krishna. We're looking towards Krishna's material energy and looking for enjoyment, for pleasure, for fulfillment in that energy. And when we do that, then we forget ourselves. We become covered over by that energy. Anyone knows another name of this energy, material energy? Maya. Another term? Yes, that's also, there's one word I'm looking for. We find the opposite word, hint, the opposite word later in the verse. Ignorance. For the jiva to become an enjoyer of this material world, it needs to be placed in avidya, otherwise it cannot do so. I'll tell you a little story. I was upstate. I was visiting His Grace Ravindra Swarup Prabhu and our friend, very dear friend, Shraddha Devi. They live in a small town, Stuyvesant town. Some of you have been there. There's always kind of chickens walking around on the property. But very peculiarly, there's one duck walking around with the chickens. And that duck walks exactly like the chickens. It kind of even goes like this, you know? It's very interesting to see. Somehow, we don't know how, that duck wound up with the chickens. And actually, as far as I can realize, that duck thinks itself a chicken. Now, what needs to happen for a duck to think itself a chicken?
It needs to live with the ducks. I mean the chickens.
Yes, and it needs to do one more thing.
See himself.
Yeah, it needs to forget I'm a duck. Because if he knows I'm a duck, then he's like, what the hell am I doing here with all these chickens? Let me get back to the water and hang out with my fellow ducks. So we have to forget ourselves in order to identify something we're not. So that's why this avidya is there. And this avidya is called dirt. That's called mala. That is what covering the consciousness, that false identification. For us we need that in order to enjoy matter, because actually we are not enjoyers of matter. Actually, we cannot even enjoy matter. It's also only when the pure ego acquires a false ego, becomes covered by a false ego. When our pure chitta, pure consciousness becomes covered with the material mind, and when our spiritual body, our pure body, our Shuddha Deha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, becomes covered with a material body, then we can kind of have an experience of enjoyment in this material world. We do experience that, but actually for the soul, there's not real enjoyment in that. I haven't realized that. There's some level of enjoyment we do experience, of course, but it doesn't deeply touch the soul, doesn't deeply nourish us. It's only because of those coverings that we feel some level of satisfaction with that. Like when we satisfy our desires, let's say the desire of the tongue, it's actually our tongue becomes satisfied. Tongue is hankering. And we think I'm satisfied when my tongue is satisfied. That's due to what's called false ego, false identification. So the cleansing of that starts when we do Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The avidya, that dirt of avidya, starts to dispel. So what happens when the mirror is dirty?
You can't see yourself.
Yeah, you can see yourself. The reason you have a mirror is to see yourself. Prime reason. You can use so many other things, but prime reason, The sort of lakshana of a mirror is to be able to see yourself. Now when it's dirty, you can't see yourself. So the jiva cannot realize its own nature without this cleansing process, when it's covered with avidya. And then also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something else which was very interesting. One cannot know one's function. Because one's function, let's say the duck has a function. It swims in the water, dives in the water, its food is in the water. But once you forget, the duck forgets it's a duck, then it walks around on the land and picking whatever, like a chicken. Otherwise ducks don't do that. So when we forget ourselves, we forget our function. So that function is called bhakti, Krishna seva, service to Krishna. That is actually what we're made for, what we're meant to do. So when the mirror of our consciousness becomes cleansed, we can start to see ourselves and we can start to realize what we're meant to do. And that's a wonderful process and very experiential. It's something we can all quite quickly experience in Bhakti. There's some sense of last week I spoke about an experience I had being in a kirtan with Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who was a very realized devotee. And we were dancing and chanting for like more than an hour. And I remember taking rest at night and feeling like so fully alive and so fully having a sense of like, oh yeah, this is who I am. I'm a part and parcel of Krishna, nothing to do with this material world. And my real function is to serve Krishna. And at that time I've experienced the sense of like, I have no other desire but right now. Of course, as we are in this world, that dust comes back. So we're kind of in this situation where we're cleaning, it becomes a little bit more dusty, we're cleaning again. So that goes on for a while. But yeah, so it's a cleansing process. But this cleansing process, what always cleanses is Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, by which you can realize that. Then the next effect is described, Bhava Mahadava Nirvahana, is the extinguishing of the Mahadavavi, the great forest fire of Bhava, of material existence. However, we find this example of the forest fire in different places. Samsaradava nalalidhaloka Tranaya karunya ganatvam, that the samsara material existence compared to a great forest fire. Why? We have so many analogies in this. It's actually a beautiful verse of poetry full of analogies. So the poets among us, like Jayanta Prabhu, may appreciate this. The analogy here is the forest fire. Now what is your material existence compared to a forest fire? It burns, yeah.
It's gone very quickly.
Yeah, it kind of gets out of hand.
Destroys everything.
Destroys everything.
It's hot.
It's very hot.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. It causes immense suffering. It causes immense suffering. Can you imagine like being all the living beings suffering in a forest fire? You cannot escape that.
Not easily extinguishable.
Yes, it's not easily extinguishable. Prabhupada also very often gives another aspect of this, very important aspect.
Knows how it started?
Yeah, it's just nobody wants it. Like there's nobody, unless sometimes some maniac goes into a forest, sets a fire, but not talking about that. Mostly, nobody wants a forest fire, but it just happens. Some friction, some spark somewhere, and it just happens and you have this massive thing suddenly. So much in the material world is like this, right? You know, you hang out with your friends and they're smoking and they're passing you like, hey, have a cigarette. And you smoke your first cigarette. So innocent, like this is like the spark. Fast forward like 30 years later, you're in the hospital with lung cancer, terminal cancer, and You know, that one cigarette that spark became a fire, which is, it can't extinguish it, it's suffering you can't overcome. So much in this material world is like that, another forest fire. And Prabhupada, he says, just making this a little relevant to our present time and circumstances, I found a nice quote of Prabhupada. In your country, nice city, New York City. Church will support me on this. And Prabhupada, nice city, best city in the world, nothing like it. But every moment there's fire, dun 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 dun. Like I live at my apartment building, there's a crossroads. Champad will get to hear all the sounds very soon. All the time, sirens, 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 sirens. Very nice city, big roads, but they're suffering. Who wants fire? This fire. But government has to make arrangement for fire brigade. And because it's a great nation, very prosperous nation, there's very constantly, very frequently there's fire. So yeah, nobody wants to do it, just happens. So and then there's suffering. So Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, because it takes away the original cause of material existence, which is our being turned away from Krishna and making us forget our true nature, since it dispels that ignorance, that original cause, which leads to everything else in material existence. Since it extinguishes that, it extinguishes the great forest fire. It's the ultimate solution, or like Prabhupada used the word, the panacea to all suffering. There's wars, there's diseases, there's old age, there's death, there's birth, there's cold, there's heat. We can't think of endless sufferings. So you can't have a solution to each of those sufferings. You can have a relationship expert. You can have who can help you with the suffering you're experiencing. That you can go to a doctor and help you with that. So, but the panacea to all suffering. It's also not that we have to should not go to the doctor, etc. We have to deal with our immediate suffering. But the panacea, the ultimate medicine towards for all that suffering, that is Sri Krishna Sankirtana, because it extinguishes that forest fire through the dispelling of the heart of this ignorance about our true nature and our relationship with Krishna. Thakur asks, so many spiritual processes, they focus on extinguishing. Like the word nirvapanam, what does it, if you just take out couple letters, what do you get?
Nirvana.
Yes, nirvana. It's yes, Buddhists also say, yeah, we're suffering. How to get rid of the suffering? Extinguish your material existence. Extinguish your ego. Stop existing, basically. But so is Sri Krishna's encouragement like that? That it's like giving up one's ego? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, nahi, nahi. Very emphatically says, certainly not, certainly not. It's interesting to read his mood in his commentary. No, don't think like that. And with that sense, the next analogy is given. Shreya, Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Kirtana is like the moon, the benediction moon. Vitaranam, which is spreading. Chandrika, moonlight. So the name of Krishna exudes a certain energy, a certain potency, moonlight. And Shreya Kaira upon the Kairava. Kairava is a white lotus. It's a night blooming lotus. So according to the Vedas, this lotus blooms in the moonshine. And that lotus is the lotus of Shreyas. of our eternal good fortune. The Vedas speak about two things, prayas and shreyas. Anyone knows what's prayas?
One is in a more immediate sense and one is in a more ultimate sense.
Yeah, prayas is literally what is priya, what's pleasing. So that's a sense of immediate happiness, and that refers to material happiness. That what is immediately within our grasp. And shreyas is our ultimate good, like our final good. Like for example, like we have this idea of fast food, right? Like you order, like nowadays you can call Uber Eats or whatever. You can get something at home, and you can quickly eat something. Or you can go to the kitchen, go to the store, buy like good quality ingredients, cook it all up. You can offer it to Krishna, and you eat that. That's for your ultimate long-term health. That's much better. So you have prayas and shreyas. So that's why Arjuna in the beginning, what does he ask for? Yat shreya sha nishitam. Oh Krishna, please tell me. I'm bewildered what I should do. Tell me what is shreyas, what leads me to my ultimate good. Not some immediate solution. Give me my ultimate good. So what is that ultimate good? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's very simple. Sri Krishna Seva. The eternal service of Krishna. That is our true good fortune of every living being, where they can find a long-term, final satisfaction, happiness, and belonging. So, and it's not that that service stops after liberation. Like Prabhupada also gives the example of the mango on the tree. This is a similar example actually. There's a mango, it's unripe. This is like us when we're not liberated yet. We're practicing Hare Krishna, falling asleep sometimes. We're trying, but not so much taste. We're not fully ripe yet. We are still, every devotee is a devotee who's practicing Krishna consciousness sincerely, but it's not fully developed yet. And that's why we see some mistakes and faults, etc. But in due course of time, that mango becomes ripe as it stays on the tree. Similarly, the lotus may be like in a kind of a bud form. Is a bud a fully like manifestation of that lotus? No, but by the moonshine of Krishna Sankirtana, that lotus comes to its full fruition. And then it spreads its wonderful fragrance and its full beauty becomes manifest. So, so in our conditioned state, Sri Krishna Sankirtana is the purifying process, and even in the liberated state, it keeps that our eternal nature of service to Krishna, our eternal function fully bloomed. That's why, yes. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually a little earlier in the commentary says that this Sri Krishna Sankirtan is not about giving up our material existence. He uses the term parinamati. It transforms our material existence. It doesn't burn our samsara, it transforms it. We can see how everything in the material world is related to Krishna. For example, we may be married. Not about that when you become, the heart gets cleansed, you look at your partner and you think, I have no relationship with this person. I have my only relationship with Krishna. Let me give this up. No, that's not. It's, you can see how your partner and how everything else is related to Krishna. That is part of that cleansing process, to see how you're related to Krishna, how everything else and everyone else is related to Krishna. So then it transforms our material existence. It doesn't like burn out or extinguish our material existence. It transforms it from matter to spirit. So similarly, the lotus, it's closed and it's still the same lotus, it just transforms into fully blossomed lotus. Then the next effect is comes about Vidyavadhu Jivana. It's the life of the Vadhu, of the bride, named Vidya. Knowledge. my wife's actually, her name is Vidya, or she's from the part of India where they say Vidya. Now she's Vandana Dasi, but her birth name is Vidya. So her Instagram account is Vidya Vadhu Jivana. So Vadhu is bride. Now what? It's a very interesting word, this word bride actually. Another analogy is given. Not wife. Husband and wife, you know, sometimes they're often together, often separated. Groom and Vadhu, after they're just married, what happens during the marriage?
You get tied up.
They get tied up. So at least during the marriage day, when you're a bride at that time, the husband and wife, at least for that one day, are inseparable. So wherever the husband goes, the wife goes, and vice versa. So wherever Krishna appears in the form of his holy name, then Vadhu, the bride of Vidya, of spiritual knowledge, appears. Now what does this mean? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Krishna's energy has two parts. It says Vidya and Avidya. One covers, Avidya covers ourselves. Vidya is another name of Yogamaya, really. It's an aspect of Yogamaya. It's the energy which is the internal energy which connects us to Krishna, which reveals Krishna, which makes us remember Krishna, makes us remember who we are. So this is the internal energy, which is like Krishna's consort. And that ultimately manifested in full as Sri Radha. That's why that relationship is there as well, of Vadhu. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains when our inclinations to Krishna and Krishna's to service to Krishna starts to bloom within our hearts, and we become under the influence of this potency, then that potency gives us an eternal form. The material nature gives us a form for the purpose of trying to enjoy this material world. This spiritual nature called Vidya gives us a form for the service of Krishna, the eternal service of Krishna. It's called our Siddhadeya, our eternal form. So that's the progression. First you realize your eternal mood of service to Krishna. Now we have most of us on the level of a general understanding of service to Krishna. But the more that grows and develops, it becomes a specific service to Krishna, a specific mood. Like all the gopis have a specific mood in serving Krishna in a conjugal way. Or the cowherd boys have a specific mood of serving Krishna in a friendly way. Like Arjuna has a specific mood in service to Krishna. Hanuman has a specific mood of Sri Krishna Seva. For him it's Sri Rama Seva. So there's specific moods of service to Krishna. And with that comes a particular form which facilitates that service to Krishna. So that's given by this Vidya Shakti. Just like that Avidya Shakti gives us a form for our desire to enjoy material nature. And that desire shifts all the time, life after life. So we take different forms, exhibit our different desires. That desire for Sri Krishna Seva, when it really manifests, becomes eternal. And we get an eternal form to exhibit that desire for service to Krishna. And that becomes gradually manifest in the process as when we keep on chanting and chanting in this life, maybe the next life, maybe another life, that ultimately will come. That purification of heart and that gradual realization of our true identity, which includes our true ego, our true consciousness, and our true body as well. The jiva is not without all of these. But that body is bestowed upon us by another energy. It doesn't come from the jiva, it comes from that internal energy of Krishna. Sri Radha. Now, another objection may be raised at this point. Well, the jiva is anu, right? Very small. So in our perfected state, will our happiness also be kind of small then? Because we are small, so our happiness will be small. So Lord Chaitanya, expecting this, says, no, 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 not small, not small, not small. It's oceanic. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. Not only oceanic, like an ocean here, Prabhupada says, an ocean here, fortunately, is not ever expanding. Although, due to climate change, they say, places where I'm from, like Holland, the oceans will increase and gradually, take it over. New York City, likely. I used to live very close to the East Village Park. That's now closed up. They kind of make it higher because, the waters are expanding. But generally, the ocean kind of keeps in a certain limit. Fortunately, it doesn't expand all the time on a rapid pace. But this ocean of Krishna's, of Krishna, love for Krishna, of Krishna, of devotion to Krishna is expanding. It's not static, it's oceanic, and not only oceanic, it's a dynamic, expanding ocean. Why is that? Why, although the living being is small, can it experience such oceanic bliss? Because actually that bliss is not coming from us. The jiva has some level of, we are Satyat Ananda, we have some level of happiness within us. It's kind of like an example of, like, let's say you have like iron. Like iron has some very small charge of electricity in it, right? Any scientists here? Or our body has some charge of electricity in it. But we can get a much larger charge when we get it from an external source. That's not very good for us when we get a lightning bulb upon our heads. But for example, iron, because there's electrons in there, so there's some very light charge of electricity. But when you put electricity on it, then it's only 220 volt, 1000 volt, like that. So we as jivas have a small happiness within. Even that happiness is very great. That Atma Sukha, the happiness of the self, very great compared to material happiness. But we can experience a lot more when we receive that happiness from the Swarup Shakti, from Radharani herself, the Nadhini Shakti, the pleasure potency of Krishna. When that Shakti descends within our hearts, due to our practice of bhakti, then that bliss coming from that potency becomes oceanic. And we all get glimpses of that sometimes. Glimpses we should cherish, but in a more perfected state, that becomes something we can experience all the time. And then you can say, well, is that bliss, is that, any kind of happiness tends to become a little stale at some point. However, oceanic at some point, becomes ordinary. Like anything, any happiness in this material world becomes, tends to kind of fade out. Like the first sweet is very good, the second sweet a little less, the third sweet a little less, or a lot more less. So that's why it says, no, this is not the case. Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. At every step, you can have a taste of full pleasure. The reason is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Krishna himself is ever fresh. The word is Nitya Nutana, eternally ever fresh. So it's not when the Krishna's associate look at Krishna and say like, oh, I've seen him yesterday too. It's like every time they see him, first of all, they can't wait to see him. Like all the coward boys, like they're like waiting for Krishna to come out in the morning. It's not that they're late, they're like early because they can't wait to see him. The gopis, when Krishna goes out in the forest to herd the cows, they experience every moment of absence to be like a yuga, something we hear later on, like a millennium. So they can't wait to see him, and it's never, ever, ever that when they see him, when they're experiencing him, that they feel, oh, I've seen him before. It's, every time it's a completely fresh, new, ecstatic, and new realization of Krishna. That's the nature. Navya Yovanamcha, ever youthful, ever fresh. Navya, Nitya Nutan, very nice expression. Ever fresh. It is oceanic, and the experience of Krishna, that blissful experience of Krishna is ever fresh. And we can also experience that, like Prabhupada used to say that. You know, it's not like we chant Hare Krishna all the time, all the time. It's still, still like our eternal number one, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Thursday night Kirtan, every Thursday night, same mantra. Do we get tired of it? No, it's always like, becomes better actually. It's more realization, more fresh. We don't tire from it. And then finally, Sarvada Snapanam. It gives a complete bath. Snapanam is bathing of Sarvada stuff. And it speaks about the final stage of prema, of pure love, of pure realization of our eternal nature of Krishna. It completely purifies us of all desires, all misgivings, all doubts about Krishna. So yes, so these are the 7 effects which come about from Param Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, and when that comes about, when we reach the final stage of complete purity, then that conquers over. Then in that stage, Sri Krishna Sankirtana is the best thing ever. There's nothing else we could aspire for. Because why? We directly experience Krishna in it. So that's the first verse of Sri Shikshastakam. With great thanks to Bhaktivinoda Thakur for revealing all these meanings to us. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Just that we have experience of that ever fresh. I was always happy to see you. You can go out for 3 minutes to pick up the garbage. You come back and go like, oh, you're back. It's every. It's ecstatic.
Charane Sama, he says like, I forgot the song, but let me be your dog. I'll be sitting at your doorstep, like your dog, waiting for you to come and call me. And whenever you call me, then I'll come and run to you with great happiness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, he noticed this.
I was just gonna say, as a dog owner, it goes both ways.
Yeah, we can have an experience with an ordinary living being, what is Sri Krishna, reservoir of all qualities and all pleasure and all wonderful things. Reflections, questions? Yes, Jani Prabhu.
Just a reflection, I wanted to thank you very much for taking us through that. It's so easy to t-shirt, but you went through, and I think you said even the last time you spoke that it could go even deeper. We could just spend week after week on this and just diving more deeply into it. So it's very nice how you took us through each word and unpacked each word, and I don't know about everyone else, but it felt like a real deep dive, and we've only touched the first verse out of 8. So I guess the question I have is, when are you coming back to do the rest?
I'll be leaving to the holy place of Lord Chaitanya's birth on Tuesday. At holy abode of Sri Ram Mayapur. So I'll be further diving in the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, hopefully, if he allows me, and then I'll be back and then sometime I'll have to.
There will be many sessions.
Yes, in March, like hopefully a couple of weeks at least before Gaur Purnima, which is the 24th, at least one more verse. Yeah, the next topic is gonna be like, okay, this is all really wonderful, but I'm not exactly experiencing the same thing when I chant the holy name. So that's gonna be the subject of the second verse. Jai. Shri Shri Radha Muridhara ki jai, Shri Gaur Chandra ki jai, Shri Shri Shastakam ki jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanandi.
Vasudeva Prabhu ki
Jai.
So now everyone can stand up. We can move the cushions to the side and come forward to dance and sing an arati.
Namah Upadanya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Gaurani Pracha Shunyavadi Vasyasya Dishitari Gara
Chaitanya Nityananda Gara Gara
Stottra Shakti Divine Grace Sriman Abhaya Charanar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnu Bhagavan Mamsukar Rasicharya Stottra Shakti Divine Grace Sriman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Namacharya Sri Thakur Ki Jai Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopura Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mantra Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Guna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai तुलसी महारानी की समवेता भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर परमानंदे all glories to the Sambhava Lord all glories to the Sambhava Lord all glories to the Sambhava Lord all glories to Shri
Namaste Narasimhaya.
much again for coming and being with us today. Another big round of applause for Vasudeva. Go super, super deep in your time in India and come back and share that with us. And next week, this happens every week, please come again next week and every week. And next Sunday, which is February 18th, we'll be having, we switched it, right? You all are next week, right? I have it written down. Jenny, time to move on.
No, it's
Okay, huh?
It's your husband.
It's Gopal next week. Very good, it's my husband next week. Okay, my husband, I'll tell him that. Next week is my husband, and then I believe the following week will be Dining Time. So I don't really have any other announcements for you right now, except please stay. We have prasadam in the back. Leave a donation if you can, and thank you for being such a wonderful part of our community. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.